In the year 1513, an exiled Italian diplomat sat alone, stripped of his title, his power gone, his reputation destroyed by men he once trusted. Instead of writing about revenge, he wrote about truth. He wrote down exactly how people really behave when ambition, fear, and self-interest are on the line. Not how we wish they behaved, but how they actually do. That book was called The Prince. 500 years later, his warnings are still proving right every single day. In offices, in friendships, in families, in marriages. Most people learn these lessons only after they have already been betrayed, replaced, or used. Today, I am revealing 9 warnings Machiavelli gave us about people warnings. Most of us understand only when it is already too late to protect ourselves. Stay until the end, because warning number 7 explains why the people standing closest to you are statistically the most likely to hurt you. Before we get to the warnings, you need to understand why this man saw people so clearly. Niccolò Machiavelli was not a tyrant. He was a diplomat, a government official in Florence, a man who spent years watching kings, popes, and generals up close. He watched alliances form and collapse in the same season. He watched loyal men switch sides the moment the wind changed. Then, in 1512, everything he had built was taken from him. He was arrested, tortured, and exiled from the city he had served. Sitting in isolation, with nothing left to lose, he finally wrote what he had really seen. Not the polite version of politics, but the true one. That honesty is exactly why his words still cut so deep today. He was not describing villains. He was describing ordinary people under pressure, showing their real nature. Warning 1. Gratitude fades faster than grievance. Machiavelli observed something uncomfortable. Do 100 good things for someone, and eventually they are taken for granted. Wrong them once, and that single moment can define how they see you forever. He warned that whoever believes major favors erase old injuries is mistaken the human. Memory simply does not work that way. Think about your own life. The friend who helped you move apartments 5 times, as rarely thanked as much as the one time they showed up late is remembered. This is not cynicism. It is a pattern. And once you see it, you stop expecting fairness from memory, and you start protecting yourself from being taken for granted. Warning 2. Threaten someone's resources before you threaten their feelings. And watch how fast the mask comes off. Machiavelli's most quoted line captures this perfectly. People will more easily forgive the loss of a father than the loss of their inheritance. It sounds harsh, but test it against real life. Business partners who stayed calm through personal insults will explode over a disputed contract. Families that survive decades of tension can shatter permanently over a will. This warning is not about money alone. It is about self-interest as the true foundation beneath most relationships. Knowing this does not mean trusting no one. It means understanding where the real pressure points are before a crisis forces you to find out the hard way. Warning 3. The world judges you by what it sees, not by what is true. Machiavelli wrote that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, because everyone can see, but few can truly feel or understand the depth of a person. This means most people around you are reacting to your image, your posture, your reputation, not your actual character. A confident liar will often be trusted faster than an anxious, honest man. This is uncomfortable, but it is useful. It means the way you present. Yourself is not shallow vanity. It is survival information. It also means you must judge others the same way, not by their words or their polish, but by what they consistently do when it costs them something. Warning 4. Never rest your security entirely on other people's loyalty. Machiavelli explained that bonds of obligation, the kind built from favors and gifts, are broken the moment it becomes advantageous to break them, because that is simply how self-interested people behave under pressure. This does not mean loyalty is fake. It means loyalty that has never been tested is unproven. The ally who benefits from standing beside you will usually stay until standing beside you starts to cost them something. Machiavelli's advice was blunt. Build your own strength, your own skills, your own independent foundation, so that your security never depends entirely on someone else's changing mood or changing circumstances. Warning 5. Be suspicious of easy praise. Machiavelli warned rulers specifically about flatterers, because courts are always full of them, and men are so pleased with their own affairs that they deceive themselves easily. He advised surrounding yourself only with people who will tell you the truth, and making it clear that honesty will never offend you, because the moment people learn that, flattery gets them further than truth. That is all you will ever hear. In daily life, this warning still applies. The people who agree with everything you say, who never challenge you, who compliment you constantly, are not necessarily your biggest supporters. Sometimes they are the ones with the most to gain from keeping you comfortable and uncritical. Warning 6. When people must choose, consequence controls behavior longer than affection does. This is Machiavelli's most famous and most misunderstood line. It is far safer to be feared than loved, because love is held together by obligation, which selfish people break whenever it benefits them, while fear is held together by the dread of punishment, which never fails. He was not telling anyone to be cruel for its own sake. He was warning that affection alone is a fragile form of security. In practice, this means boundaries matter more than being liked. People will test how far they can go with you, and if there are no real consequences, eventually, most of them will go too far. Warning 7. The one that keeps people trapped the longest. Machiavelli understood that betrayal rarely comes from strangers. It comes from those who were closest, who had access, who knew exactly where you were weakest. Throughout history, the rulers he studied were overthrown not by distant enemies, but by advisors, family members, and trusted allies standing inside the walls. This warning is uncomfortable, because it asks you to hold two truths at once. Closeness is valuable, and closeness is also risk. The answer is not paranoia. It is awareness. Pay attention when someone close to you consistently benefits from your setbacks, or grows distant exactly when you need support the most. Warning 8. The world rarely rewards good intentions on their own. Machiavelli understood something most people resist accepting. People are judged by results. A well-meaning failure is remembered as a failure. A ruthless success is often remembered as genius. This is why two people can make the same risky decision, and the one who succeeds is called visionary, while the one who fails is called reckless. It is not fair, but it is consistent. Understanding this warning does not mean abandoning good intentions. It means recognizing that intentions alone will not protect your reputation. Only outcomes Will. Warning 9. Power gained too quickly rarely lasts. Machiavelli observed that those who rise through luck, sudden opportunity, or someone else's favor, without building real skill or real foundations, tend to fall just as fast as they rose. They never learned how to hold on to what they gained, because they never truly earned the ability to keep it. This is why lottery winners often end up broke, why sudden fame frequently collapses, and why leaders installed by others are removed just as easily as they were placed. Real, lasting power is slow. It is built, not given. Let's pause for a moment. 9 warnings, one thread running through all of them. People are shaped far more by self-interest and circumstance than by loyalty or goodwill alone. That is not an insult to humanity. It is simply what Machiavelli observed after years inside. Real courts, real politics, real betrayals. The question now is not whether these warnings are true. History has already answered that. The real question is what you do with this knowledge. These warnings are not permission to become cold or cruel. Machiavelli himself was not describing an ideal world. He was describing the real one, so people could stop being blindsided by it. Use this knowledge to see people clearly, not to become someone worth being warned about. Build your own strength instead of depending entirely on others. Trust, actions, consistency, and behavior under pressure, not words and not flattery. Set real boundaries, because affection without consequence invites people to test your limits, and pay closest attention to those nearest you, not out of paranoia, but out of respect for how much access they truly have. Awareness is not cynicism. It is protection. 9 warnings, 5 centuries old, still proving true today. Kindness forgotten, faster than cruelty. Self-interest, stronger than sentiment. Appearances valued over truth. Loyalty that bends under pressure. Flattery that hides its motive. Fear that outlasts love. Betrayal that comes from those closest. Judgment by results rather than intentions. And power that collapses as fast as it rises. Machiavelli did not write this so you would become ruthless. He wrote it so you would stop being blind. If this video opened your eyes to a pattern in your own life, that is exactly what it was made for. Share it with someone who needs to see people clearly. Subscribe, because we uncover what others hide. And comment below which one of these 9 warnings have you already learned the hard way?